Oh, it looks like we are on. Looks like it's live right now. What's going on, everybody? RC here for a little random Friday hangout. There's really no plan, which I think is kind of odd. Like I'm just
little dangerous.
Yeah, dude. I was sitting there and I was like, I wonder if we can just do a random hangout and just kind of chill on the Friday. So when we threw it out there, we said we wanted to see who was coming up. So the first person that we have is Mr. Colby Brown. Colby, what's up, baby?
Not too much, man. Just enjoying a Friday, doing a little, putting together a few presentations for some seminars, and saw this pop up, and I figured I can't pass up a chance to talk to RC, so I had to jump in.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, I'm grateful. But let's see. I was just spending my Friday just kind of, just I don't know, man. Just kind of going through a little bit of
product placement.
Just for full disclosure, I did not ask him to do this.
It's totally cool. It's totally
nobody likes advertising.
It's just landed on my desk. I was just like, oh, yeah, it's stunning. It's like if you ever wanted to get yourself on the Google suggested user list, also did not say that.
I promise nothing.
And then all of a sudden there's like some higher ups at Google that are just kind of going,
yep, it's off with him.
Off with his head. So, all right, Colby, man. So what's going on? Hey, Edward Moxley, where you from, man? What do you do? Ooh, Edward. We cannot hear you, Edward. Run towards the light. Run towards the light. Edward, we're going to have to come back to you.
Yeah, you're muted.
Set yourself up. Michelle Hedstrom, tell us where you're from. Tell us what you do.
Hey, guys. I'm over in Denver. I'm actually like 20 minutes from Colby. Believe it or not, I should just go crash his place.
She does on occasion.
Yeah, I have during like some of your on-one stuff. That was kind of cool.
That would be very awkward. But, oh, glad to have you here. Now, you a photographer?
Yeah, I do sports and concert stuff.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Track and field yesterday.
Nice. All right, and also on the Hangout, we have Mr. Oliver French. Oliver, what is up? What do you do?
Oh, still taking the chance to see you. I'm from Germany, and today it was a very boring day because weather was forecasted to be rainy and snowy, but it still was sunny with cold temperature.
Nice. Now, where in Germany are you from?
Bochum. It's in nearby. What's it called? Gelsenkirchen. Schalke, if you know the football team.
Okay. North, south, east, or west?
West, middle.
Okay, west in the middle. Okay. I used to live in Germany. I used to live in Germany for like 2 years.
Oh, where?
Jena.
Oh, that's in the north.
Yeah, northeast. I was closer towards like Dresden and Weimar and those areas.
Yeah.
So my German is I can count to 10. I can be like, Guten Morgen.
And 10 beer.
Yeah. Ich hätte gerne eine, 2 Bier.
Okay.
And that was about it. I had a, I'll tell you my German story later, actually. It was actually pretty cool. Rob Herrera, what's up, man? Where you from? What do you do?
Yo, what's up? From Florida. Lakeland, Florida, exactly. Full-time IT, part-time photography. And I just finished my Cuban sandwich. I'm feeling a little evil right now.
Oh, God. Why do you gotta go there, dude?
I'm hungry. Where's mine? You didn't send any mine.
Yeah, I'm starving, man.
I posted a picture. I posted a picture up there on my.
Dude, it's almost the same thing.
Are we gonna have that conversation?
I don't know, man.
I was just nuts. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we do, let's say hi to Warren. Hey, Warren. Well, what's good, man? Where you from? What do you do?
Yeah, hi, man. I'm originally from South Africa and currently living in Houston, Texas. Oh, and as far as what do I do at the moment, I'm a full-time father and part-time photographer and pilot.
Oh, dude, best job in the world, full-time father.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
And then that's one of those things where I'm just like, you know what, look, I love the fact that I get to talk with all you guys. I think it's really cool. But if somebody let me be a full-time dad, that'd be great. So no one knows more about full-time dad than Mr. Colby Brown right now. What's going on? How's the kid, man?
Jack's doing good. He's now 7.5 months old, and he's almost 22 pounds, and he's in the 97th percentile as far as growth rate. So
Nice.
being 7.5 months, he wears clothes that are for 18-month-olds. So that's always interesting that he can basically wear a piece of clothing for about a week before we have to replace it.
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
That's a big lad.
Yeah, he's a big boy, but he's great. I mean, he's in the middle of teething right now. He got his first 2 bottom teeth, and some more coming in. And but he's sleeping decently through the night. He's very mild mannered. He has a great personality. We're very, very fortunate, especially from some of the horror stories we hear from some of our colleagues.
Wait until he reaches 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's what we hear. The terrible 2s or terrible 3s are going to be
That's it.
a new
You know
challenge.
what, man? I got to tell you, man. I had with Sabine. She was really 2s and 3s is so far have been really, really good. You know who explained it best? My wife, Jen. I got to give her a lot of credit for this. Jen had turned around and she said, obviously there's, exceptions to every rule and all that kind of stuff. But she was just like, imagine if all of a sudden you have all these ideas and you just have no way of kind of getting them out. No way of kind of explaining it and understanding it and realizing it. She's like, that's kind of what it's like running around, like, as a 2-year-old. It's like you're trying to test these boundaries. You're trying to work with all of this kind of stuff. And we've had a great time with her. She's 3.5 now, and, it's just a lot of, like, I just jump down at her level, and I'm like, all right, what do you want? What do you want to do? You want to do this? You want to work with this? You want to work with this? And that part's been really cool. That said, she's 3.5, and I think that Jen started sleeping like 6 hours at a clip, maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So when people are like, "Oh my God, my baby slept through the night at like 3 months in," we're like, "Yeah, try going 3 years."
Well, Jack's not sleeping through the night, but he's only getting up probably 1 time, so that's not too bad.
Dude, that's great. I'll trade you in a second, man. I'm like, I was a zombie, man. I would walk around here just a mess. That was good. Dude, that's good to hear, man. That's really, really good to hear.
Thanks. Thanks.
I know you were pumped, so I'm like...
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, it's one of those interesting things. I mean, I've been doing photography full-time for about 9 years, and, I'm very fortunate in my career in that I get to travel the world and visit these exotic locations, and I've been to Everest multiple times, and, go to Patagonia and do mountain climbing and all these crazy adventures, and the realization that all that was preparation for having a child, and still even at that point, it wasn't enough where I had really a clue of what was going to happen once I got there. So that's kind of my new adventure now. That's my new focus, and trying to deal with that.
How far up Everest did you get, Colby?
Oh, I never ended up going past advanced base camp. I was never going up there to climb. It was just documenting.
Okay. So you never went through any of the glaciers or anything like that?
Well, I went over. I've been over many of the ridge lines out there, so Chola and Ranjala and Kongmala, and I've done a lot of work up there. I mean, advanced base camp's about 21,000 feet, so most of the time that I spend up there was typically 19 to 20, crossing a lot of the ridge lines. And doing
What's it like walking across the ladders with those crampons?
It's needless to say, it's a challenge. It's one of those things where you can't think about the ladders breaking or not working because you have no control over it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's the same thing with like flying. Like I love skydiving. I love all sorts of heights and things like that. But with all the traveling that I do, if something ever happened with like a plane, what am I going to do about it anyway? So it's you just kind of live in the moment, and that's kind of how I live my life in general and whatnot. So
scary stuff, man.
Yeah, for sure. Beautiful, though. I love that region. Nepal is one of my favorite countries in the world, for sure.
I'm sure. And scuba diving?
Oh, yeah, I've been scuba diving. I've been an advanced diver for about 9 years, and I've been to a lot of places around the world. Not all the key hotspots, but I think my favorite place is probably Sibadon out there, just outside of Borneo.
Nice.
In Southeast Asia, but yeah, I love diving. Same type of high that I get from the mountains. It's just where it's the solitude and the quiet and the nature, where it's so peaceful underwater. As long as I'm not diving with like a larger group of people, if I'm just off with me and 2 people, Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I spent a little while as a dive instructor in South Africa, and I must admit I've had some of my most exhilarating and scary moments all in the same time. Being pinged by a pod of southern right whales.
Oh, wow.
Seen umpteen white shark, fascinating other types. So yeah, that, and I don't surf there anymore, put it that way.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, gets a bit scary.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's amazing how many times when you know, experiences kind of combine both those elements, where it's the most exciting, but you're also maybe not necessarily during, but certainly afterwards. You're like a little bit of the oh crap moment that just happened.
Yeah, exactly. That's what keeps you alive.
Yeah,
well and truly.
For sure, keeps it interesting.
Mhm.
I had a couple friends that just came back from a dive trip, and it's the dive trip I normally go on, except I went to Photoshop World instead. And they said they were diving in Cozumel, and they got caught in this current that was actually sucking them down alongside the wall.
Yes.
So my friend said he dropped from like 70 feet to like 110 in like a second.
Can I tell you something? The exact same thing happened to me just a year and a half ago in exactly the same place.
It was Paradise Reef, I think.
I'm not sure which reef it was, but it was about 95 to 100 foot down when we reached the sandy bottom. Then there was a large formation of coral which we were able to swim through.
Yeah.
And as soon as we got to the other side of that coral, it was the drop-off. I got hit on the back of my head, and I could feel myself dropping. But
yeah, they said it was like the scariest thing. They said everyone recovered. Like, everyone was okay. There was one person who panicked and hit the BC inflator and just popped. But that's a different story. She's like I know her, and I've dove with her, and she's a moron. So yeah, everyone got out of it okay.
But I say that's an easy way to get the bends right there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she hasn't killed herself. She's done stuff like that before.
But you know, as an instructor, that's one of the most scariest things ever. Is sort of when you watch, when you look at that look on people's faces. I mean, I've almost cracked my knuckles tapping on people's masks, trying to get them to focus.
Right.
Before they sort of reach that panicky stage where their eyes roll back into their sockets.
And they're just gone. Yeah.
And they're just gone. Yeah. You do what you've got to.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Dude, that's crazy. And that highlights two things that I cannot do. One is swim.
You can't swim at all? You can't, or you
No,
don't want
dude.
to?
Dude, I grew up in the Bronx. I'm like, there isn't that many opportunities to swim.
You don't want to swim in the East
Florida
River?
now.
I'm like, dude, no, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that I'm working on. I'm going to work on this summer. I mean, it's like, now, mind you, at one point it was like you drop me in and I float, and like now I can kind of hang.
You do all right.
But it used to stress me out for the longest time. And then the other thing is afraid of heights. So I'm generally afraid of heights. So if I feel like I'm falling in water, like there's not enough plastic underwear for me to wear, dude. It's not happening.
Fortunately, you're in water though, so it actually doesn't matter.
Well, you're good friends with Moose, RC, so he hasn't taken you up to do any aerial photography?
Well, you know what? Like, it's funny because it's like I'm afraid of heights. Like, I'm really afraid of heights. But it doesn't stop. Like, when I'm doing pictures, it doesn't stop me.
Nice.
I'm like if I'm out, if I were out hanging out with somebody and they were like, oh, let's go step on the side of the building. And I'm like, usually like, yeah, no. But there was a shot that I had to do. There's a shot of my 500px profile where I was taking a picture. I took a picture of Columbus Circle, like in New York, and literally that's like at the top of this hotel, which is like 40 some odd stories. And I'm at the very top. I'm at the roof, and I wanted to get higher. And in order for me to get higher, there was scaffolding going around the front of the hotel. Mm-hmm. So I'm like 40 some odd stories. All you hear is just wow, wow, wow. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let me just put the camera around my neck. I'll jump on the thing. I can totally do it. And only until I put my hand on the scaffolding and I realized that it was wet, that I was just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to hang out right here. So it's wild how I can be afraid of heights because I do not like heights. Like, I do not. Yeah. And how all of a sudden when I see, when you see something like you want, when you see a picture, when you see something, all of a sudden it's just like, whoosh, it goes away and you're like, dude, I got to get that shot.
But isn't it always like that, though? I mean, you'll have a certain fear, and one of your clients will say, I'm personally not all that excited about heights either, and one of my clients in Cape Town wanted me to climb up one of the sides of their buildings. It was a 12-story hotel building, but they had one of those square, those big cranes that sits and sort of moves concrete and what have you around. You had to climb up through the center of the crane scaffolding that sort of makes the crane. And in South Africa, they're not too big on sort of health and safety. So normally you'd go up to like 2 platforms, and then you'd have like a square area where you'd then move around and then go up the next ladder. So it kind of sort of thing that if you fall, you only fall so far. And these ones didn't. It was literally straight up, and also had that camera around my neck. By the time I got halfway, my arms were really shaking, sweating, thinking, is it really worth the money? Nonetheless, you get up there and you do it. But it's like that. I mean, people always push those limits for you.
Well, RC, we were just talking about, I think before you went live, we were talking about Brian Mateus, the photo education manager for On One Software. And Brian, I don't know if he's afraid of heights. He may be, but I know that he's deathly afraid of water. And so, it's interesting talking to him. You can even just bring up water, and I can see, like, the look in his eyes just kind of starting to rain.
Dude, you shouldn't have told me that at all.
Oh, you totally should. You should, like, bring, like, buckets of water. I think even buckets of water near him makes him a little bit queasy. So.
That's what I'm going to do, dude. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to get, like, one of those, like, big, what is the Trentas from Starbucks?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get that, fill it up with water, and just shake it in front of him and be like, ooh. Ooh,
all right, so how's he take a shower then if he's afraid of water like that?
Well, I think regular water. I mean, I was being exaggerating.
Have you been next
a little
to Brian?
Bit. But he's
okay.
Like any like bodies of water, like lakes. He doesn't like always swimming in pools, like ocean especially. Like ocean freaks him out. Like if you get, and he lives in Portland now, so it's interesting. But yeah, Brian's a good guy. I know. I mean, I just like to give him a good ribbing every once in a while.
Well, like one of the things that a lot of people don't know about Brian is that he usually carries a lot of wipes with him.
Yeah.
I'm just totally kidding. He's probably watching the podcast and he's like, dude, I'm going to kill you guys.
Well, he told us not to talk about him, so.
RC, did you find something lacy at Photoshop World in his camera bag?
Did I? I most certainly did. No, I did not. But
I love you, Brian.
No, but see, and that's the thing. It's just like I'm afraid of it, but it's like it's not going to get in the way of me getting a shot. There's very few things. Like I got a call from McNally last November. I was saying, I was sitting there. It was the most amazing experience because it was like I'm from New York and I miss New York quite a bit and things like that. And I love going up there to shoot. And McNally called me up and he was just like, hey, listen, you coming up to Photo Plus? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you want to come and do something? And so far, it seemed the last couple of Photo Pluses, it's like we try to get together and just go do something before the show starts. So he turns around and he's like, you want to go do something? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, are you afraid of heights? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, is it going to stop you? And I'm like, no. And he's like, bring a sweater. So sure enough, I met him in Midtown, and he's like, all right, come on. He's like, well, we took a cab, and we wound up at the heliport. Mm-hmm. And it was basically he was doing a shoot for a client, and he was going around, and it was just like there were 3 of us in the helicopter. And he was just going around New York City, door open, and just shooting around the city. And literally, it was the coolest experience of my life. It was, I mean, like McNally's a buddy and he's a friend and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's still Joe frickin' McNally, right? And it's like I'm watching him and like this is the helicopter, right? This is the helicopter like this. So the helicopter's going chug, 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 and literally like I could have thrown a softball and hit the Statue of Liberty's head. We're like incredibly close, and he's like, all right, so make a shot, and all of a sudden the helicopter goes. And it's like up in the air and it tilts sideways. So we're all like sideways. Like if you were not clipped, it would have been like slip and right out.
Ow! Oh man!
And It was the best experience. It was the best watching the man work moment that you could ever have, because he's literally on one knee, clipped onto the helicopter, with a D3S and a 600 like on his knee, and he's like looking at me like out of the side of his eye, and he's like, one of those. It doesn't get any better than this. And I'm like, that is like the coolest. That's like the photographer version of the Marlboro Man. It's like he's like one-handing a 600 on his knee off the side of a helicopter in front of the Statue of Liberty. I was like, so then we got down, and I got a whole bunch of shots, and I thought it was really, really cool. And we got down, and he's like, so what'd you think? And I was like, is this the part where we make out? So it was cool. It was one of those experiences where I was just like, man, I'm happy that happened. I thought that was good.
So would you clip yourself into the back of the, what was it, the C-130 that Moose does on his like aviation workshops?
Yeah. Matt showed me a couple of the shots that he had, and I was like, oh wow, that'd be very nervous. I was like, my friends would have to have like no sense of smell, because we would be done. We would be absolutely done. Now, what about you guys? Ernesto, do you do any high up?
No, not me. Simply because I share the big fear of heights thing, and mine is even more so. I can't even climb a ladder.
Wow.
I'm a lot worse.
That's
Can
wild.
you hear me now?
What about you, Edward? Edward, are you afraid of heights?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep.
I can.
All right.
Edward, how you doing, man? Where you from?
Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Oh,
Home of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base.
oh, awesome, awesome. And what do you do out there?
I'm sort of retired, but not by choice. I'm
all
on
right.
disability.
All right. So now that you're retired, you get to play with the camera more.
Yeah, I play with it, but not much more than that.
Hey, playing with it is fun.
What you got there?
A D7000,
Nice. I like that camera. That's a good camera.
and yeah, being on disability, I'm not allowed to make much money, and 'cause you're not supposed to be able to make money and be disabled.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha.
I found a job I could do a little bit, and that was deliver phone books. And I did that for a couple of years, but it's getting to the point now where I can't even do that anymore. And the money I made from delivering the phone books is what I use to buy my camera, my lenses, and my grip.
There you go. Good for you then, man. What kind of stuff do you like to shoot?
Wildlife, and when I can see a landscape worth shooting. Not much around here. Can't really afford to go to the mountains or take off for Arizona or places like that to find landscapes.
Yeah, I hate that part. You're trying to find something around your backyard. Sometimes it's just a little hard to do it.
Yeah, we're about 2.5 hours away from the coast. And I told my wife one weekend I wouldn't mind going down there and maybe hopefully find some nice ships docked or something like that, do a sunset or fishing piers and that kind of stuff.
All right, well, if you do, let us know. If you do, let us know and share it up. It'll be good.
All right.
Now, what about you?
I'm hoping the hummingbirds will show back up. I've been trying to get some good pictures of them since last year. And out of the hundreds I took, I've only got about 2 that I really like.
Hey,
They're hard little critters to get a good picture of.
Well, it's not like you picked a sloth. I mean, you picked something that's a little busy. It's a little hard to get it.
Yeah, they get real busy.
Well, that's good to know. All right, hey Oliver, are you afraid of heights?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the reason why I'm going at holidays to the mountains to get this stuff, controlled. But we have a very beautiful location, which is an old industrial building or building complex, which is now for over 15 years not used, and so you have a building which is about, I have only the measurement in meter, so it is 45 meters in height, which is probably very much more in feet.
Yeah, it's about 100. That's about 147 feet.
Oh,
Roughly.
okay. And there are still parts in the building which are not there. So you have big holes where you can look down to the ground where some iron stuff is lying, and you know if you are going one step ahead to this, you are flying directly this 120 feet to the iron stuff. That is not exciting. But if I have a camera and I can make pictures, then that is a different situation. So it frees you in not freeze like in ice. It free you up. Then you can concentrate on the job if you want.
Right.
Because it is not my main job to make photographs, but it makes much fun, and so I've more than one time in a week I've shoots with some models, and we are a few photographs which are going to do the stuff together. It's very good, because if you are in a team, you have somebody who gets the models, you have somebody who makes the contracts, and so on. Oops.
Well, that's wild, dude. And hey, listen, just before anybody says anything about, because I'm like, oh yeah, 45 meters, that's about 147 feet. I know you had that look like, oh my God, that's pretty good. Here, let me just show you how I did that. See this part right here? This is called Google.
Yeah.
Right? You could just type in 45 m in feet.
Google, never heard of it.
Google?
Right there.
Yeah, some of us are just stupid Americans that don't know how to convert, okay?
Or just multiply by 3.3.
Right? Yeah, but I was an English major. That means like things like math escape me. So what I'll do is I'll do this: 45 divided by 3.
Oh God, really?
So a lot of the times people don't know that Google not only does it turn around and just provide you stuff like you can type in things like spinning wheels of death.
Uh-oh.
Does it come up? Oh yeah, there it is.
Funny.
The spinning wheels of death. All right, but we'll talk about that later. But hey, listen, just also while we're at it right now, I'm just going to go ahead and look at that. I was off this thing. Let me just go ahead and do this one more time for everybody here. So I'm going to go to google.com. Inside of google.com, you just type in 45 meters in feet. That tells you exactly what that is. You can type in 45, and what I did was I did 45, then I did divided by 3. And then that tells you it's 15. The reason that I divided it by 3 is that I know that 3 meters is about a story. So you were talking about something that was about 15 stories high. So
okay.
Now, for those of you guys who are in the Hangout, remember, go to my Plus page so that more people can see this stuff. Go to gplusrc.com, and then make sure that you click on this button right here that says share, and make sure you go there to check it so that in case somebody wants to ask you a question, you can kind of do that up. So
cool.
Just a random housekeeping note while we were there. So, but I didn't want anybody to think that I was like really good at math or anything like that. Because I was just like, no. I don't. I just know how to use Google. That's about it.
That means we don't have to take out our calculator program on our computers. We can just go to Google.
Yeah, you know what? If I were in a spot where all of a sudden I had to go do something that said, do this example and show your work, they better hope they have a video camera. They're going to watch me go on Google.
I'm curious.
But yeah, so that's all right.
I'm
So we're talking
curious
about Freights of
about
Heights and
something.
getting. What was that? Edward, are you testing it now on Google?
Oh no, I was just there was a pause there for a second. I just thought I'm curious about something. It's just my own curiosity, and it's a little bit off the subject. I was just wondering if anybody else here is in the home theater.
Oh, home theater. I don't think I've ever done. I don't think I've ever done anything with home theater. You know what? I was gonna get one of those Bose sound system things. And
Bose?
Bose, B-O-S-E, Bose.
Yeah, stay away from Bose.
Really? Not good.
If you go to any home theater forum and type in, a question and ask about Bose, you will not find any love for Bose in the home theater world.
Really?
Yeah. Say they're overpriced and overrated.
And you know what? My thing is, I have a 52-inch plasma, I think it is, like a Pioneer. Like I got it when it was like really, really cool. I spent an ungodly amount of money on it. Like years ago, I want to say like maybe over 5 years ago. It was like huge, and it was the biggest thing that we can get. It was from Pioneer, and truthfully, I watched Sesame Street, Little Einsteins,
Dora the Explorer.
No, we don't do Dora. She doesn't like Dora. She likes Wonder Pets. So literally, it's become a giant Sesame Street, Little Einsteins, and Wonder Pets. So.
Oh my God, I have the Little Einstein song in my head now. Thanks.
Welcome to
You got a Blu-ray player?
No Blu-ray player. You know what? I have the Apple TV, so I figured that would be stuff that I could download. And again, most of the stuff that I download is off of Netflix, Sesame Street episodes, Little Einstein episodes, Wonder Pets.
Sesame Street, we do that all the time with
Yeah,
Jack.
but hook a Blu-ray player up to that plasma, and you'll see an outstanding picture.
Really? Colby, what were you saying?
Netflix is phenomenal for Sesame Street and for Cat in the Hat and for any of those other children's shows. Yeah, we have every once in a while when we need Jack just to relax a little bit, we put on a little bit of Sesame Street or something like that, and it's phenomenal. So we don't have cable television. We don't. We're not. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of TV in general. I enjoy movies, but I don't enjoy the commercials and all that fun stuff of TV. I don't want to pay $100 for watching 3 channels out of a 700 that I have to subscribe to. Netflix definitely works and solves the problem for $10 a month.
Isn't it lovely when you go to your Netflix account? It's recommendations for you. It's all these cartoons.
It's all kids now. I got nothing up there anymore.
Yeah.
It's all like toddler shows.
My kid actually hates commercials now, because we'll DVR stuff off Nickelodeon, like Kung Fu Panda, because he likes that now. And he'll call me, he's like, "Mom, commercial!"
Yeah, you know what I got? I got my 3-year-old will turn around and she sees this big screen, right? And she gets to a part where she doesn't like it, and she does this. She runs up to the screen and goes.
That's cute.
So if you go to my house, you see all these streaks on the television because she's just trying to flick stuff out of the way. So
Nice.
that's all. I mean, that's all she does. Like if I were to, we do random tests with her where we'll hand her the iPad closed, locked, with a security code, and then we'll tell her, hey, access your favorite part of Toy Story, the one where Lotso is on the conveyor belt. Go. And then she'll take it, she'll flip it open, she'll slide it, she'll hit the passcode to unlock it, she'll go to the video, she'll go to the movie, she'll scrub all the way to that one section. So I'm like, I don't know if she can do math. She knows how to navigate the snot out of an iPad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
he can't use a computer because he uses my iPad all the time. So now if he sits down in front of my computer, he actually reaches out to the monitor and starts trying to touch things.
Oh man.
But it's and like I'll do that. Like I'll go with her to a restaurant, and The one thing that I think that the iPad did, as horrible as it is, like the iPad saved our marriage. It totally did.
Really?
Well, no, I mean, obviously no, but
That would be an awesome ad for Apple right there.
could you imagine? All of a sudden, at this point, you see my wife plus one net remark. But no. But it was just like we wouldn't go anywhere. And you have to understand. I'm the ultimate helicopter parent. Like I'm the ultimate like, is everything okay? Are you all right? Do you need this? Do you need? I'm like that fish in Finding Nemo, like the dad fish.
Yeah.
I'm like totally nervous and stuff. But so I never got a chance to kind of hang out with my wife. And so we turned around and we did that, and we're just like, we grabbed the iPad and we started giving her the iPad, and we have all these like, educational toys and things like that to play with, and
Angry Birds.
She's watching Wonder Pets and she's watching Little Einsteins, and but she like flies right through it. Like she knows how to click and move and drag and organize, and my iPad has her own section, so she knows how to flip to that page. And we do that, like we'll do that at the restaurant, and then she'll be playing something, and I'm like, Beanie, halfway. I was like, that's too loud, halfway. So she'll hit it, and she'll drag the volume thing halfway, and people are like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, what you need to understand, these kids are born with this stuff at this point. Like they're seeing this from like ground. This is no different than in the 80s, the cute little toddler that was able to pull the VCR tape, stick it into the big hole, and press the button. I'm like, it's the same thing. It's just in another piece of tech. I'm like, she's not running for office because she could run an iPad. I'm realistic about that. We're going to try to teach her other things, but it's just wild as to how much that stuff is just a part of their life now, which I think is kind of crazy.
Hand them some vinyl and a turntable, see what they do with it.
Right?
Oh, man.
They'll chuck it across the room like a frisbee.
Yeah, I used to be a scratch DJ, so she could come up with like a cool mashup or something. But
did you know that turntables are still out there right now, and they even have USB ports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I have this record store here in town that sells old records and stuff, and that's how I learned that newer album players now are now wired to be able to manipulate digital, like for example USB ports and stuff. I just thought that was pretty cool.
Dude, you know what's weird? You know what's weirder? Here's something. I mean, I've known about this for a couple of years, but here's something that's wild. Like, remember the old rap days and scratch mixing and things like that? People grabbing turntables and stuff.
Yeah.
So my brother did that. I did that. My younger brother did it. So we're like, all of us were scratch DJs at one point. Like now, I remember when I was a kid, and even up until almost the beginning of college, I used to have like all these crates of vinyl records, and I had my Technique turntables, and I had my mixer. Go to a party like that. Everything was in a coffin case, and now they have this thing called Serato, and Serato is basically what it is. It's you get real turntables, real mixer, but you get these discs, you get these vinyls, real vinyl. But the vinyl has a series of sensors in it, and basically you connect your computer through this interface, and then you run an MP3 file, and the sensors on the vinyl interact with the MP3 file that you have on your computer. So you don't have to carry any vinyl records anymore. You carry a giant computer library and 2 of these vinyl discs, and you do everything that you could do with vinyl. And it was just like I remember looking through it, and I actually did a demo of it, and I was playing with it, and I was just like, it's just crazy as to how much these experiences have changed in just 15, 20 years. Like, it's just nuts.
What's next?
I don't know, dude.
It looks like the compact disc is on its way out. Can you believe that?
Dude, you want to see the most depressing place on earth? Go to a Coconuts or an FYE or a whatever those places in the mall that sell like it's like all these DVDs surrounding this one person that doesn't want to be there. He's like, just take them. Just let me go home. I want to go home and play on iTunes.
Yeah.
Like, on Google Music. Or on Google Music. Kobe's here. You know, we got to even it out.
They're calling you Google's love child.
Yeah. I get that a lot, actually. It's all right.
I saw that. I saw somebody had said something about that, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, I've been using Google," and I'm like, you know what, dude? It's actually pretty cool. I'm like, I could think of worse things to be cool. Like, you know, I'm starting to on Google Music. I'm starting to use it more and more, specifically because I like of how you can share stuff with circles. I think that's way cool. Like, here, I'll show you in case you guys haven't seen it. Let me switch this over here real quick. I'll show you over here. So let's say that I'm over here. I'm going to go to music.google.com. Obviously, it'd probably help if I typed it correctly. So there. So now let's go ahead and let's buy. Think of a cool song. Somebody give me a cool song. Living on a Prayer. I said cool.
That's the first thing that pops in my
How
head.
about That's Life by Brian Culbertson? I had to throw that in there.
That's Life?
By Brian Culbertson. B-R-I-A-N. Culbertson. He is one of the top smooth jazz musicians out there right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't do jazz.
Oh, man.
There
All right.
There we go. B.B. King and Van Morrison.
Okay. All right, then.
So there's B.B. King and Van Morrison, right? Oh, actually, you know what? I got to go shop for music. Oh, no. I have a better idea. Here, look. Take a look at this girl. She's on Google+, and I absolutely love her. Rebecca Pearl. Right? She's on Google Plus all the time. Here, as a matter of fact, I think you totally should. Rebecca Pearl.
Yeah, I've heard about her. Doesn't she play some of her songs live in the Hangouts?
Yeah, she totally does.
Okay.
So she's got great music. So now in here, this is her EP, right? So I'll turn around and I'll go in here. And I'll go, oh, there's Unfaithful. I click on this. Continue. Complete your purchase. And now, right from here, this is the part that I dig. Friends will receive a full play.
Well, that's cool.
So if you click on share, just bought this song on a live hangout. Why? Because secretly, I really love Rebecca Pearl.
Oh, man.
Dude.
Love it.
That's pretty cool.
And now from here, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to add extended circles, and I'll add my circles. Now, anybody who's in my circle will get a play. If you're not in the circle, you only get a little sample. You click on share.
You shared it to public, too.
Yeah, so everybody will see it, and they could just do the sample thing. But now from here, it's like if I want to save it to my computer, I go to my music, right? And then I can take that song right from in this one area and just download it if I want to download it.
Right.
Like if I don't necessarily want to keep it here, download song.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Google Music is really cool. I actually played one of your songs that you posted out the other day, a full song. I forgot which one it was.
So it's like for me, I'm like, dude, I could still if you use let's say iTunes, because I mean, come on, look, everybody's using iTunes, right? So if you still use it, just turn around and do that, and then just put it on your device, and you get the best of both worlds. You buy the stuff off of Google, you get to share it with everybody, and
Dude, I uploaded my entire iTunes library to Google Music, and now I just stream it to my Samsung, my Galaxy S2.
Cool.
I don't even need to have it on the device. So it's pretty cool.
Man, South Africa's got a long way to catch up.
Yes, I have to do the usual
Disclaimer.
I have to do the usual disclaimer that this may or may not work
Yeah.
on your devices and in your sections. But
Well, the thing is in South Africa is they still charge you per gig for internet. So it's not like here you just get an unlimited amount. There you have to pay per gig. So when you start downloading movies and music streams and things like that, you pay for a lot more than just the actual music or video or whatever it may be. You're actually paying for the gigabytes to download it.
wow, why would they do that?
Well, that's a good question. It's one word, mate. Greed. So
That's pretty bad, dude.
it's obscene, but it's true. I mean, still to this day, when I go back to South Africa, I go and visit my friends. And I'm like, oh, come on, we're just going to watch this on. No, you can't do that. It's going to cost me a couple of $100. Like, oh, yeah. And you remember, guys are paying per gigabyte. Prehistoric.
That's just nuts, dude.
Yeah, I can't imagine not having unlimited data on my phone.
Yeah, I mean, even here, though, I think they still limit your data flow, or at least charge you if you go over it, right?
I have Sprint, so Sprint has unlimited data.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my unlimited plan with Verizon, and I've just kept grandfathering it, and then on the iPad I had an unlimited AT&T, and I've just been grandfathering that one.
What is your connection like on your iPad with AT&T?
Pretty good. It's LTE. So it's a fast. I get a fast connection out of it. I was going to actually switch. I'm not a big fan of AT&T, and I was going to switch to Verizon. But I had read an article that said that with the iPad 3s, with the iPad 3 you could keep your grandfather plan at LTE, as well as not be throttled.
Okay.
So for me, it just made more sense. And then they had just opened up the LTE cell here in Tampa. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm not traveling as much as I used to, and I'm going to need it around town from when I'm watching 30 Rock while I'm driving. So not that I would do that. That's just as an example.
Yeah, of course. Don't forget the disclaimer.
Yeah, it's just an example. I'm not really talking, your results may vary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed.
But so I switched with that. But I mean, I keep going back and forth between that and the iPad 3, and I have the Asus Transformer Prime.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that one?
It's actually pretty cool, dude. It's one of those things where, it obviously gets a lot of grief because it's Android, and apparently it's not Apple, and this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. But you'd be surprised, man. It's like the finish on it, the fit and finish on it, and the technology that Google's put into the Android thing has been really, really cool.
Okay.
If you get into, if you use the ecosystem, right, and then that's the part that I think is funny. I get that all the time. People are like, oh yeah, well obviously you got to sign in. You're like, you have to use Gmail, and you have to use GChat, and you have to use Google Plus, and you have to be in Google's pocket to use it. And I'm like, hello, iTunes. I'm like, dude. I'm like, pot, kettle, come on, dude.
I realize it for sure. Well, I actually have the Asus Transformer Prime as well, and the one thing that I actually like about the Android tablets over the iPads is the sense that you can actually use, especially for the Transformer Prime, but a lot of them have USB host support, so I can sit there and plug in one of my hard drives, 500 gigabyte, 1 terabyte, and actually use my Transformer Prime as a means or a median in order to back up images when I'm on the road. With the battery life with the keyboard, it's like 18 hours compared to like a MacBook Air, which is like 4, at least for the smaller end than the light version. And then obviously the expandable storage and stuff like that. So they've come a long way. They're actually pretty good.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so they're not too bad. I actually dig mine. I keep going back and forth. And true, the only reason I haven't really kind of given it more play is because I had a whole bunch of iPad carrying cases, and I don't have a carrying case for it just yet. So I got to kind of like get something to carry it around. But I mean, I've seen people use them as external devices for their DSLRs.
Yeah.
You know, there's. I gotta find out what app they're using, but.
Well, you can use. I mean, if you're using, if you have a Canon, you can use a DSLR controller, and you can actually use it to tether or use it for the live view. So it's actually quite nice. You can do it with an Android phone as well. And my Nikon actually has one as well. So I don't know if you know this, RC. Maybe you've seen it. You know, I'm actually rocking both of them now. So I have a Nikon D800, and then I also am still using my Canon gear. So now I have best of both worlds, but you're still able to do it with both of them.
Nice, dude. You're gonna have to tell me about that Nikon app because I want to play with that.
Yeah, for sure. I'll shoot you a message afterwards.
Which do you prefer?
As far as the cameras?
Yes, sir.
Very different. I mean, I shoot predominantly landscape, travel, and humanitarian photography, and all three of those have very unique, different requirements for equipment. So I got the D800 just because I had previously bought the Nikon 14-24, which is probably the sharpest ultra-wide-angle zoom lens on the market right now. And so I'm just using my D800 with that lens, and I'll probably pick up one or two others just for my kind of landscape work, stuff that I need to blow up, for galleries, for large prints with the 36 megapixels, that works well. For my travel and humanitarian, I need better low-light performance, better high ISO performance. Right now I have a 1D Mark IV, but I actually, Canon UK is sending me a 1DX next month.
Oh, wow.
In order to utilize that, and so I'll use a 1DX for all my travel and humanitarian, for when I'm working in like IDP camps in Haiti, when I'm going to Africa and working in tribes and areas where it's, you know, and I don't use flash, I typically just use ambient light, and I need high ISO. And
how do you get involved in the humanitarian side of things?
It's, I don't know, kind of tricky question. I mean, I've been doing this for 9 years, and I just started making connections with organizations as I traveled for contract work over the years, and now I've been doing it for quite a while. I started a few organizations myself. I do work down in Haiti a couple times a year, helping support local Haitian organizations that do great work that need a little bit more being recognized for their stuff. I also started a organization or a company called The Giving Lens, which basically we do photo education trips around the world to third world countries, where half the trip is about photo education and kind of furthering your photo skills, and the other half of it is supporting sustainable development projects. So sometimes it's like clean drinking water projects, sometimes it's fighting for women's rights in places like Jordan, sometimes it is working with orphans in Peru. We're going to Tanzania this year and working with Maasai kind of as a cultural education and helping them build a school. So it's, I don't know, I think a lot of people want to get into humanitarian type of photography, but in reality, and the answer that most people don't want to hear is that more times than not, it does more harm than good when someone doesn't know what they're doing and just kind of wants to give back. So they just like show up in a place like Haiti after the earthquake, and all of a sudden you have thousands of people doing that same thing, and they're just kind of getting in the way because they don't understand the culture, they don't understand what's going on. They're just trying to find ways to give back. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where people and organizations need help and support, but just people wanting to give back doesn't necessarily do it. I mean, it's the same thing like with money with NGOs. You know, you can pour billions of dollars into, you know, like AIDS in Africa or, fighting child malnutrition in Peru, but at the end of the day, there still needs to be sustainable development side of things, and that usually comes from within, so empowering local communities. So I'm sure that didn't answer your question, but that's the kind of the
No, you gave me a good run around there. I appreciate that. Thank you. No, I'm joking.
So,
no, it's just something, you know. I mean, sort of walking around in certain places in Southern Africa. I mean, we sort of saw it every day, and we lived it, and we were part of it. And to sort of hear. I mean this with the greatest respect. Like some of the Americans, Red Cross type guys would come across and they'd be like, "Wow, we need this, we need to do this, we need to do that," and you know, at the end of the day, they climb back on their airplane and they fly back to their nice, comfy home, and nothing gets done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's there's something to said about yeah. I mean, anything in the West going into developing countries, coming in it with a mindset of it needs to be like this, and that's kind of been a problem for the last 100 years,
absolutely.
or more, arguably. I mean, obviously, you can talk about colonialization and things like that in Africa, but in general, the only development I've ever seen be actual successful is in the empowerment of the local communities. And if you're not empowering local communities, then you're basically creating a cyclical cycle of dependence. And that's why I always say that IDP camps, so independently displaced person camps, that's what they're called, are temporary solutions that turn into permanent problems, because people never foresee past the recovery of an earthquake, and all of a sudden there's millions of people living in Port-au-Prince in these IDP camps. But with the idea that first came about was they need someplace to stay, but there hasn't been any forethought into providing a sustainable way for them to make money for themselves. So instead they stand in lines with the Red Cross for hygiene kits and to learn about education with cholera and all sorts of things. So,
well, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier on when you said, and if this is what I kind of understand, what you're saying is that before anybody can go in and help them, you've got to understand their way of life and perhaps how they operate, because if you try and inflict upon them how you are living in a big city like New York or whatever it may be, and you go into rural Africa, believe me, you're in for a really big shock.
For sure.
So understanding them definitely.
Both the micro and the macro level. So that's for like organizations coming in, but that's also for individuals like ourselves. As photographers, we want to go and help out these organizations, but we can never go into it being like, this is just how I can help. This is the only thing I'm willing to do, because it doesn't work that way. It has to be more organic. It has to be a two-sided street. There has to be conversations and dialogue and cultural understanding, because there's so much contrast out there.
Exactly.
And I think that a lot of the time it doesn't happen. I get emails. I get probably at least 10 to 20 emails a week because of my humanitarian work with photographers wanting to give back. And there certainly are a handful of great ways to do that, but most people just kind of want the one-off, want to show up in Haiti and want to take photos or want to do X, Y, and Z. And at the end of the day, like I said, it usually does more harm than good.
Not prepared to get their hands dirty.
Well, for sure, exactly. I mean, you can look at it like for anyone that travels. We can go to like Cambodia and go to Angkor Wat, and you'll see tons of kids out there. And there's huge issues with mines that were left by the U.S. military during the Vietnam War. Laos and Cambodia are two of the most mined countries in the world, regardless of what's happening in Iraq and Afghanistan. So you have a lot of these kids that get their limbs blown off because they're playing in out in the forest. They don't realize that there's a mine there. And people show up and they want to help these kids, and so they bring like candy and lollipops without the realization that these kids have no dental support. There's nothing to help keep their teeth clean, ultimately rotting their teeth, causing more problems than good. And at the end of the day, all these people wanted to do was to help these kids feel better, but they don't think about the repercussions of their action. And I always use that example.
The fact that they're not necessarily really used to eating super sweet items like that, and obviously that has its own problems too.
For sure, with digestion and malnutrition and all sorts of things. I mean, it's really complicated when people start looking for tangible, meaningful ways to give back, because all those variables that people don't think about. And I don't think it's to the fault of these individuals. It's just we're people of experience. We're people of our cultures. We're used to life here in the West, and we walk down the street and we see some cute kid. We ask their parents, maybe we give them a lollipop, and we go on our way. We don't have to worry about these other issues.
Yeah, you don't do that in South Africa, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And so, it's just anyone that wants to give back, just do your research, understand what you're trying to do, and get involved at a small level first, and then build your way up to trying to do something sustainable. That's my best recommendation.
Sure. Fair enough. Thank you for that.
Of course. Sorry, RC, didn't mean to take over. I kind of go on tangents when stuff like this gets happening. So.
Dude, that's my favorite part of all of this kind of stuff. It's like at the end of the day, it's we're photographers, we're computer guys, we're all this kind of stuff, but we all have those buttons that we get really, really passionate about, and it's like you get to know more of the bigger story behind the entire thing. I mean, look, I think that you do a great job at talking to people about the things that you talk about of your heart, but I think that unless people see it, they don't really understand it.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's just you just sound like a bot. It's like did you know, blah, 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 and you're just watching text. But, I mean, dude, we're really excited about this stuff, man. We're really, you and nonprofit stuff, me, dealing with you know, with my child and things like that. It's like this stuff means stuff to us. You know, we're not just blips on a screen. So it's totally cool, dude. It's totally cool. You never have to apologize for that.
For sure. Right on.
Tony, I never even said hi yet. What's going on, Tony? How you doing?
Not much. I'm doing well. Just thought you were going to have a hangout and thought I'd jump in.
Oh, you're coming in really low, Tony.
Oh, not again.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Tony.
Oh, hang on a second.
But that's really cool. No, but I mean, you know, I think that's one of those things where it's it's wild because it's like I always see that, and I remember that. Ooh, just got really loud over there, Tony. I remember when all the stuff in Haiti came around, and I think that what happens is we're passionate people. I think photographers are passionate people in general, and it's like the first thing that you want to do is you want to turn around and be like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And the first thing that you want to do is you grab your camera because, you know, I don't know how to swing a hammer. I'm horrible. Like, I'm the least mechanically or handy inclined person I know. I usually tell people, I'm like, I tell my family, and we talk about it, and I'm like, I have a saying, I'm like, if I can't move it with a mouse, I'm not moving it. I'm like, I can't, dude. I'm like, I want to, I just can't. So I sit there and I'm like, you know, well, what can you do, right? Can you grab your camera? You're gonna go out and you're gonna go make a difference. And it's like we have that Superman syndrome.
Right.
We have that syndrome where we're just like, we'll change it, we'll do this, and I remember tweeting back and forth to Jeremy Kyle right before Jeremy went, and I was like, I think that you can do something, and I was just like, but I sat down and I assessed it honestly, and I said to myself, could I do something? Yeah, probably. Would it serve me more than hurt somebody else? I was like, probably.
Right.
And it was one of those things.
It's tough. That's a tough one to learn right there. That's a good topic because I think that, and a lot of people I think do it subconsciously. I don't think it's a conscious thing. I don't think people don't have the intentions to be altruistic, but I think that very often that's the case. You know, they go into I want to show up in Haiti and take photos, not realizing that it's going to benefit them maybe emotionally or them wanting to do good more so than them actually being there and doing something. It's delicate. There's no direct answer, you know.
I got into that conversation. I got into the conversation with somebody about it, and I was just like, I remember it was the most anticlimactic feeling because I turned around and I said, you know, the one thing that I could do is donate and help and make sure that the people that are qualified to handle things get out there and handle it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me feeling good. And I talked to somebody about it, and they were just like, you know, well, I help and I do charity and I do this and I work on all of these things because, I mean, I just feel so great when you're done with it. And I had this conversation, and I'm like, you know what? But here's the problem. I think, in my opinion, if you do charity for the sake of feeling good, you're not doing charity.
Yeah.
Right. Or for the sake of saying that you're doing good.
Yeah, and it's like if you do charity, I'm glad you feel good about it. You should feel good about it. It's very human to feel good about it. But I'm like, I don't want to feel good about it. I remember, and this happened to me, it was one of those things where it's like, I heard it a lot during Help Portrait.
Right.
And people would come back on their cameras and they were just like, oh my God, it's just, you know, I just feel so alive when I do charity. And then I'm like, but you're not doing charity. You're doing it for, you know, you're doing it for the equivalent of an emotional protein shake.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not charity. That's you feeling good at the expense of somebody else. And that's nice, but your heart's not in the right place. I was like,
right.
and so we went back and forth on that, and I was like, you know, I don't want to feel bad or good. I just want to go help.
Right.
Like, if I feel good or if I feel bad or if I feel introspective or any of that stuff, it's not about me, period.
Right, right. And that's what it should be. I mean, at the bottom line, that's at the end of the day, that's what it should be about. And there's certainly going to be the side effects where, you know, I'd be lying if, you know, I didn't enjoy my humanitarian work. It didn't make me, you know, help me personally feel a little bit better about the travel that I do and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, whenever I do that type of stuff, it's not about me. And if it is, that's the problem. And that's a great point. I think
usually if you feel like it's about you, that's probably the best time for you to just kind of stop doing it.
Do something else, for sure. And again, I get, you know, you talk to people and you know, they'll just not stop talking about how, you know, altruistic they are and stuff like that, and that's another red flag for me. That's whenever I, you know, for any, I was just talking about the Giving Lens. So with my company, we take these trips down there. I have applications, so I don't take anyone. I do, you know, personal interviews with every single person that we take on any of these trips, just because of the sensitive nature, and I look for red flags like that, because I think that people with the wrong mindset, like I said, can do more harm than good, and you want the right people doing the right type of work. And that's the trouble. That's hard for any organization, you know, both business-wise as well as NGOs, to find the right individuals that meld with what you're trying to do. So. Yeah,
it's for me, it's one of those sensitive topics, and we'll go back to it probably at some length. I'd love to kind of pick your brain on that, Colby. But it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know where it was, but we were having those conversations, and we're just talking about, man, it feels good to do charity, or, you know, it feels or we're talking about individuals that do that kind of excessive, look at me, I'm bathing a homeless person, am I not awesome?
Right.
And I was just like, you know, maybe I'm old school about it, but I'm like, charity I think should be done in anonymity.
Right.
It's like, when I die, people will be like, oh, he bathed a homeless person, and it's, or whatever it is that it is, and I'm like, it's not mine to talk about what it is that I'm doing. It's not mine to talk about who I'm helping.
Right.
You know, they wouldn't want it. Why should I talk about it? And it's like, there's something cool about just the anonymity of it. There's something cool about just
doing a good deed just for doing a good deed.
Yeah, right. Just walk away, dude. Just do it. Go home.
Yeah.
You know, you want to feel good? Get a milkshake. Pick up your kid. Do something else. Don't.
Vanilla for me, please. I love vanilla milkshakes.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so this conversation just got heavy, and we'll just switch over to the Kindle Fire. What about the Kindle Fire, dude?
Yeah, Ed was asking about that. My wife actually has a Kindle Fire. We got it for her, and she likes it. I mean, it's limiting. It's not as robust. Obviously, it's an iPad at its price point. It shouldn't be, and it's not as open as most of the other Android tablets, even though it has Android software at its very base level. Amazon actually layered its own software on top of Android, so it's a very unique experience. But for $200 for a decent 7-inch tablet, great reading machine, you know, good for surfing the internet, it's good. She likes it. So.
I think that's the next one on my list. We have the plain old vanilla black and white Kindle, and my wife has it's funny, dude. It's like first world problems, right? Because she has like the iPad, and she has the Kindle, and she's like, you know, this Kindle, it's you. There's people that can like do crossword puzzles, and you know, you can do games on the new Kindle, and she's like dropping all these hints, and I'm like, yeah, you know where you can do that? On your iPad. Leave me alone. But I don't know, man. I'd like to play with the new one. I think the new one would be pretty cool.
Yeah, certainly.
My wife has the big 10-inch black and white Kindle, but I was interested in that color Kindle Fire myself.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. Let's see.
For the money, definitely.
Right? I think it'd be great. I think it'd be really, really good. Now, hey, so let's switch this to photography projects. What are we doing here? Anybody doing anything interesting? Anybody shooting something interesting this weekend?
I'm trying to figure out what to shoot this weekend. I have to complete some assignments for a mentorship program.
You have a mentorship program?
I'm in one with Robin Griggs Wood.
Robin Griggs Wood is running.
That's the one that's here on Google Plus, right? It's not Robin, but the mentor program, right?
Yeah, the mentorship program.
She is a fantastic artist, that woman.
She is.
Let's take a look. Here, so I'm going to do this. Now, obviously, I know that I have her on here, so I'm just going to go here, just Robin. Let's try it again. There's Robin Griggs Wood right there.
Yep.
So this is the person that we're talking about.
Yep.
Right. So she started a mentorship program where people would just kind of. Oh, you might want to turn that mic up a little bit more, Tawny.
Okay. Is that better?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay. For some reason, my Mac changes my volume. Anyway, there's a whole program of various artists on Google Plus that are taking part in this mentorship program. And it's a 10-week program, open, you apply to it, and then they accept a certain number of people, each artist does. And then you just do the program, and then they'll move on to another group of people.
Very cool stuff.
It is. It's really cool.
Yeah, she's an outstanding artist. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, so that's her stuff there. And then I'm going to put Tawny. I'm going to put Tawny on alert here. We're going to go through some of your stuff.
Go to view all.
Which one?
View all at the top.
Okay, let's go to all of your albums. Which one do you want me to go to?
There's a mentorship one.
Let's see. Mentorship. I see mountains.
No. Maybe it's, oh, I know why, because it's private.
Oh, okay. No, I was just gonna look at some random pictures that you've taken. I'm like, I love Multnomah Falls.
Wow, look at that.
Have you been there?
I've been there once. I've never gotten a chance to shoot it. I was really excited about shooting it.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there.
Where is that?
It's in Oregon.
Okay.
Just outside of Portland.
Right. It's beautiful here.
But it's a big fall, dude. It's a really big fall.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Wide enough angle. I don't have a lens that'll cover the whole thing.
That's one very unfortunate thing about living in Houston.
No waterfalls?
No, nothing. It is as flat as a pancake for 200 miles all the way around.
Oh my goodness.
It's terrible. I mean, coming from Cape Town, believe me, this place is terrible.
Well, Oregon's awesome. We have, where I live, it's like an hour and a half to the mountains and an hour and a half to the coast.
You guys are so blessed, I tell you.
But isn't it that way with, I'm just going to keep looking at a couple of different things. Oh, your first print thing is there too. That's pretty cool. Oh, look at this. I love like this stuff that she does. Like,
oh, look at that, eh? That is nice. Well, what's with it? Go back there. What was those couches? Those settees.
I dumped them, and I had to get a picture of them.
Somewhere nice to enjoy a cup of tea in the Sunday newspaper.
Yeah, they were pretty filthy. You wouldn't want to sit on them. I
Where's
was out there recently, and they were gone.
Where's the pictures that you did? Where is it?
It's in there somewhere. It's in the. You'll find it in the photos from posts, I think.
Photos from posts?
Yeah, I think it's probably in there.
Let me see.
Upper left.
So it's this one?
Yeah, it should be in there somewhere.
Yeah, but do you have the original picture?
Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
So this is one of the pictures that I like that Tawny did. Oh, here it is. Take a look at this picture.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is great.
It's a very foggy
That
day.
is really cool.
That is stunning, definitely.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I like showing Tawny off.
Yeah, it sort of blends into that antique feeling one would expect the age of those bridges to be. I'm sure that's a good 100 years old, yeah?
Oh, yeah. But RC printed it for me, and I now have it hanging on my wall, my first ever print.
All right.
But I just think it's so cool. It's just like she's got great stuff.
That is nice.
But isn't it the way like everybody has that kind of man, I'm shooting in Tampa and this thing it just sucks and I wish I could find somewhere to shoot and I'm like, dude, I'd try Houston for a little bit.
It's nice if you're into architectural. Yeah, you know, the thing is that, you know, I just don't know the place very well. I mean, I'm only here for now a few years, and I just don't know all the back streets and all the ins and outs. I mean, I'm sure there are some absolutely amazing places, but For me, you know, if it doesn't have a bear running through it or an osprey coming down and grabbing something out of the water, I don't know, I tend to think it's a little boring.
Dude,
You start off really high.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we used to photograph from a gyrocopter in South Africa. I mean, there, you want to talk about hanging out. You're pretty damn close to hanging out of that thing. You're going to have a great fun. So, yeah, it's very different here.
Dude, I should trade you right from here, man, because it's like everybody around here is like, hey, do you want to go about an hour south and go do alligators or go take pictures of eagles or egrets or like literally, like if you were to leave this office, you would drive maybe a mile before you get to this like little farm that has an eagle's nest like in the corner.
Oh, nice.
And people just go there to take pictures of eagles and badgers and all these other things, and I'm like,
you know what, RC, the thing is I just don't like being in the urban area. If I'm going to go and do photography, I like to be in the mountains. There's nobody around me for 200 miles, and you're in a survival mode. And for me, I mean, that's why I enjoyed scuba diving and photographing so much. You may agree with me, Colby, that when you're underwater and you're sort of looking, I don't know if you do underwater photography, I'm sure you do, but when you're looking through your camera, nothing else tends to matter around you. I mean, whale sharks, white sharks, anything, whales for that matter, highly dangerous. But when you're looking through that wide-angle lens, it doesn't matter because you've got that false sense of security.
yeah, no, see,
I can understand that. I mean, I think it's definitely subjective to each individual. So, you know, I think some people that obviously are super into, you know, street photography feel that same kind of euphoria. You know, I don't know if that's the correct term, RC, but you know, where you just kind of get in the moment. For me, I'm the same way. That's why I do landscape is my favorite. That's what I started out doing. That's still my passion. The humanitarian and travel just kind of coincided with everything that I ended up doing with all my travel. But when I'm out in nature and it's peaceful and quiet and I'm the only one awake at 3:30 in the morning walking around the mountains in Patagonia or, you know, underwater and you know, just kind of there, that's for me, that's my mecca. That's my peace. That's my serenity. So
that's living.
Yeah, if anyone can, you know, it's the one thing that I think that we have to do is take into account that it's such a subjective experience and it's certainly not universal, and that, you know, I know a handful of photographers in Texas. Actually, my parents live in San Antonio. They're not photographers, but I visit occasionally, and I think that there's so many different people with different types of interests, different types of passion, that love different types of photography and you know, appreciating others. You know, for me, I can't do weddings. Like it's like to me that's like the worst. Like I would never want to shoot a wedding.
You know, that is really tough.
Is incredibly good at it, and he loves it, and it shows in his work.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that, you know, definitely, you know, appreciating other people's appreciation for their specific genres is
yeah.
Sure.
That's wild that you said that, dude. I just shot a wedding this past weekend.
Did you?
On Monday.
Oh yeah, how did it go?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I shot on Monday. It was a 12-hour day, and it was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm trying to think. It was almost kind of like euphoric, which I thought was kind of weird, because it was like there was this one spot where we didn't, you know, so-and-so didn't know if they were going to have the shot, and this wasn't going to happen, and this was going to work with this. And, you know, I try to stay out in the field as much as I can, right? I try to stay out. I'm not just teaching. I try really hard to make sure that I'm out playing with it and shooting it and processing it and doing all of these kinds of things. But it's like over the last couple of months, I've kind of felt like I've had a little bit of photographic atrophy.
Right.
You know, I'm like in the middle. I'm like trying to come out of a HDR detox. It's like I mean, everything that I'm shooting is HDR this and HDR that and HDR this, and it's like I'm grateful and I like it, but I want to kind of do more.
Right.
So for me, I'm like, you know, I want to test my mettle. So for me, I was like, you know what, man, I want to get out there and I want to go out and I want to make a shoot. I want to go out and, you know, do a wedding. I want to see, you know, do you still have it? And it's like, can you still can you still hang? Because I mean, you have to have a specific, physical constitution or emotional constitution to shoot a wedding. You don't get two of them, It's so.
That didn't work. Can you redo that? Can you walk back down the aisle again? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Look wistful. It's like
Look wistful.
There was a couple of those spots where it's like, all these things were happening and it was just like, oh, so-and-so didn't get that shot. Did anybody get it? Did anybody get that? Did anybody get that? And I'm like, I pick up the camera and I'm like, I got it.
Did you strip your shirt open and pull out the cake?
and you know what? And that was it. It was literally one of those moments where it was just like, basically what had happened was the bride and the groom decided that they were going to walk down the aisle, down this like covered area, and they're gonna walk under sparklers.
Oh,
so some dude they're gonna have all these sparklers set up, and then at the end of the sparklers, they were going to they were just gonna wave. So they turn around and they're like, all right, well, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So I get to one line, and I'm, fighting the videographer guy, trying to get myself in, into the position and into the spot. And a couple people let out the sparklers early, and they're not ready for it. And the sparklers let out a whole bunch of smoke. So the entire place is all smoked up. And now you can barely see anything. And you got the people there. And I'm at the end. There's these rows of people that are kind of coming, and they're walking, and I'm like, pap, 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 got it. And then there's no lights behind us. So now the videographer's going to have a hard time with getting the light. They have no light. They have no nothing. And basically where they were supposed to stop, they didn't stop. They kept going. So they're walking right in front of me, probably about 4.5 feet. So whatever finish he's going to have, it's going to be 4 feet closer to me than I thought it was going to be. So everybody's freaking out because they're trying to get the shot. And everybody's like, doing all that kind of stuff. So I literally grab my camera in one hand, and I'm on the floor on my butt, facing them. So I grab the camera with one hand. With the other hand, I push up, and I'm scooching back, like really high off the air, and just planting myself on the butt until I can get further enough, and putting my hand behind the entire thing to change my EV to take into account that they're now in almost complete darkness. And she gets to the very, very end, and he decides to dip her. So he dips her and kisses her, and everybody's like, dude, who got that? Did anybody get that? Did anybody get that? And I have my camera in my hand, and I sit there. Hold on a second, I have to show you, because it's kind of cool.
I was going to ask, let's see it.
So that was...
So that is nice.
Oh, that is
incredible.
Look at that.
That is so incredible.
So I turn around, and I'm like, I sit there and I do that, and then I turn, and so everybody's like, did you get it? Did you get it? And I'm like, thank you. Good night. It was one of those where it's like you just want to spike your camera. You just go, and I'm out. Because it's
that's fantastic,
dude. Everybody goes through it. I don't care who you are. I think that at one point or another, you always want to test whether or not what you say you do is what you can do. It's like you practice basketball all the time, but you want to go play the game. You want to go play the game, and you want to go see if you can score the shots you think you can score. So it's like, I was driving back, and the people that I was with, I mean, they were tired and they were beat, and they're like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I feel good. I'm like, you want to find out whether or not the Tigers got fight in them? And I'm like, this is good. I can still hang.
I got the shot.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm good. I'm all right. I'll pay for it tomorrow, but I'm good tonight. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know if I'm doing a wedding next weekend, but but I don't know.
What's a fair price to charge for a wedding here in the States?
Ooh, man, that's a hard question, man. It runs the gamut. You know, there's people that tell you you shouldn't sell your work for anything less than $5,000. There's people that tell you that you know, how dare you talk about my work, and if I want to sell it for 500. You know, the numbers are just so drastic. The numbers are so drastic.
What about sort of from the point of view that if you were doing, how do I put this, if you're doing 1 or 2 weddings or 3 or 4 weddings a month charging $5,000, or if you did, you know, I mean, there's always somebody getting married somewhere and they can't necessarily afford that sort of money. So if you were doing for 6 hours or for 3 or 4 hours a wedding for $1,000 and then doing more of them, do you not perhaps think that's sort of an alternative to? I know that there are some people that will only do 2 weddings, one every 2 weeks, and they'll charge $12,000-$15,000 for it. I mean, I just don't see the logic behind that.
Well, if you can get the clients, or if you're big enough to do it, I know a handful of friends that or colleagues that do charge that much and get, you know, have no problem filling their spots. I mean, there's certainly still people with money that do want to spend that much money, as ridiculous as I may personally find it.
Yeah.
But I think that the other thing to account into everything, and you know, people think that wedding photography is so overpriced, is that as RC was just talking about, it's a lot of work, and especially if you're a one-man shop, it is even more than a lot of work. It's like you're doing the work of typically like 2 or 3 people if you're a one-man shop, and it's a big wedding. And the other piece of it is that you know, it's a ton of work post-processing. I mean, even if you're editing a lot of them similar, you're still, you know, to make sure you covered everything, you're probably still shooting 10,000 shots for a weekend or something like that. And, you know, so it's not just, you know, an 8-hour day. It's 8 hours plus X, Y, and Z. So, again, coming back to Scott Jarvie, I mentioned him just because he's a good friend. You know, he sometimes has interns that help him go through his images and do keywordings and do all these things. You know, he puts together books by himself. He does, you know, long 8-10-hour editing sessions. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. And so if you're adding multiple weddings and you're dropping your price in order to get more, in order to, you know, to balance out for doing, you know, 15 weddings a year and making $100,000 to do 50 weddings a year and charging 100, then all of a sudden you're multiplying the work that you have to do. So there's no necessarily one right answer for it.
Yeah.
But,
I think everybody sort of goes through that. Everybody sort of goes through that point where, I mean, I say this purely from the point of view of arriving in the United States. There's a dime a dozen of everybody doing everything, and for you to crack into the market, you know, you need that something extra special, or you need that something extra. I'm not saying personally for myself, I'm not particularly fond of shooting weddings either, but when it reaches a point where you've got to earn money to sort of survive, you know, people will do that sort of thing to get the business, to get the work, by dropping their prices and trying to get their name out there as per such.
For sure, and that's and sorry I didn't catch it if you said that was universal, but that is, I mean, for any type of photography. I mean, look how much everything's changed in the last 10 years, of stock photography to periodicals to people selling work in galleries to, you know, X, Y, and Z. I mean, the digital revolution in photography has allowed more competition, if that's the way you want to look at it, than ever before, because more and more people can afford cameras. So if I can sit there and 5 years ago sell a print, you know, that I worked hard for you know, $5,000, and this year, you know, it's going to go for $600, just because of the nature of I'm competing with people that are giving away their work for less money. It's just the reality of the industry as well. I mean, there's too many people I know that spend too much time complaining or fighting, you know, the changes, rather than looking forward to the future and using, you know, different facets in order to maximize their own business. And, you know, you know, you can look at things like Pinterest and stuff like that. You know, obviously people are up in arms, and photographers are worried about rights and selling these images that Pinterest has supposed rights to because of the TOS. But at the end of the day, they're also getting tons of exposure, and you're reaching people that you never could have before. And for like a wedding photographer, there is what the demographic for Pinterest is like 80% female to 20% male, and a lot of people are in there for weddings and doing different types of things. So I mean, that could be a huge avenue. But are you worried about your photos? Who knows? You know, I mean, it's always a trade-off, so to speak.
Yeah.
So.
If there's one thing that I will add though to that, right, not to get into the entire concept of, you know, what it is that you're pricing or getting your specific number, there is one thing that I think that people don't take into account when they price something, is the amount of time that you're going to spend in the post process of things.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
It's just people are like, oh yeah, I'll go shoot a wedding, $500, no worries, not a problem. And I'm like, yeah, all right, so let's say that's 10 hours, 11 hours that you're going to spend start to finish on the wedding. That's nothing compared
so you
to...
divide that sounds good when you divide 10 hours by $500, but not so much when all of a sudden you realize that you're going to spend 36 hours or more editing your work. So.
Yeah.
So, and that's the part that a lot of people usually don't get. If I see any people that are just jumping in, any mistakes that they do, it's that one. It's just, oh yeah, the mic is you know, if there's any mistake that they do, it's that. It's, yeah, I'll shoot the wedding for this amount of money, and you don't take into account all of the other things that come with.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to go out and shoot a wedding, you need to, if you're going to go out and do any job, there's things that people never take into account. They never take into account the amount of gear check
Right.
that you need to do before and after.
Indeed.
You know, like the day before, I spent, you know, the better part of a couple of hours, you know, in my garage going, okay, this is one light setup. This is my fail-safe light setup. This is, if this situation goes wrong, I'm going to grab this. These things get bundled together with this because I want to be able to find it relatively quickly when I get to the location. You know, I want to stage everything so that if I'm going back to the car, I'm going, all right, let's take this setup, then this setup, then this setup to do that. And that stuff takes time. And that's time that you could have been doing a headshot. That's time that you could have been doing a job. That's time you could have been doing post. And people don't take a look at the totality of everything.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I did
I want you to meet Jack really quick. I just got
Hey, Jack. Hi.
Say hi to RC. Can you say hi to RC? You can stand? Okay, you can stand. There you go.
Hi.
He's a cutie pie.
He's got some awesome eyes.
Yeah, he's got some really nice eyes.
They're super crazy blue. Ooh, he's now stepping on my my Wacom tablet right now.
Oh, hi, buddy. Hi.
Okay. You say hi? You gonna say hi up here? Look, there's RC. You see?
Oh.
You'll meet him one day. It's okay. You'll meet him. Oh. He loves. I have the Blue Yeti mic, and I think it's one of his favorite things on my desk. So he'll sit on my lap, and I'll just unplug it and give it to put it closer to him, and he just loves the texture of the mic and like playing around with it. I mean, he's now in that stage where at 7.5 months, where everything he wants to feel, and on top of that, everything he wants to put in his mouth. So it's obviously the delicate side of things, but things with any texture is his favorite toys right now. So.
Oh, I bet. That's wild.
Cool, man. A good-looking little lad, eh?
Thank you.
I see what you mean by a healthy size as well.
Yeah, a large boy. And his looks I equate mostly to his mom. So
right.
thank goodness for that.
Oh, here, put him up. I'll put my picture. I'm gonna put a picture of Sabine up and see how he acts.
You guys see Sabine? This is RC's
Watch
daughter.
this. This is my baby.
Oh, you see that? Yeah, you do. That's Sabine. Yeah, she's a little older than you. No. Yeah, there you are. Staring right at her right now. Oh.
Right? Here, you can see another one.
Look at that.
with the iPad.
You don't get an iPad just yet. Not yet. Sorry.
That's great.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, here's this is probably the most recent one I heard. There you go.
Oh, look at that. You see that? You see Sabine? Yeah.
Is he big?
You gonna say hi? Hi, Sabine.
Say hi.
Oh.
So,
yeah, you smiling? Is that a smile? I think I saw a smile.
I like the I love little babies with other babies because they just get so mesmerized.
Oh, they do. Oh, you did so good. My wife actually just got home, obviously, so I'm gonna jump off RC here.
All right, brother.
I gotta get some work done as well. But thanks for the hangout, man. I had a good time.
Yeah, man. No worries, man. It's always good.
Yeah,
It's always good.
It was a
Colby,
pleasure meeting everyone.
keep your eye open for that image I'm going to do for you. I'll tag you in it there.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to get my wife and my daughter involved in that, and a ladder for those of you who are scared of
Ooh,
heights.
I like it, Warren. All right, man. Looking forward to it. Everyone else, you guys take care. I'll talk to you again soon.
Take care, Mr. Colby.
Stay
See you
well.
guys.
Take it easy,
All right, man.
Colby.
Yeah, dude, we've gone all over the place on this hangout.
Indeed.
Nice.
I want to get your opinion on something.
Did RC ever get his?
What was that?
Did you ever get that Mamiya 645 film camera you were on?
No, you know what? I keep going back and forth on whether or not I can. I'm like, I will. I just haven't. I haven't done it just yet. It's one of those. It's one of those on my to-do list.
You need to get Jen a Kindle Fire first.
Yeah, dude. If I show up with a 645 before I show up with a Kindle Fire, she will knock me out. Okay. All right. So, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where's the
I see
opinion?
them on Craigslist.
Here, it's up under my name. I've shared the screen.
Oh, I see. That's pretty cool, dude. I like that.
We stumbled across these cars out at Brenham at one of the airports out here. And my daughter actually took that picture, and I did a bit of post-processing.
Now the deal.
Coloring?
Say again, sorry?
Is that like selective coloring?
Yeah. I just
Okay.
took everything out and made a masking layer and just brushed the color back in and sharpened it slightly.
Now, I think that sometimes you lose a little bit when you're going on Hangouts. So, is it that dark, or can it be opened up a little bit more?
No, it's actually, it is lighter than what I'm seeing on the screen.
Okay, all right. That was going to be my only my only concern with it was the darkness of it.
Right. Yeah, let me just put it up in Photoshop quickly. Maybe that'll give me a sec.
But I thought it was pretty cool. That's
Cheers.
a cool shot.
How old is your daughter?
She's 7.
Oh, nice shot for a 7-year-old.
Yeah, it's, I just bought one of those new 70 to 200 VR2s for the Nikon, and I just had to go out and try it out. And I set it up on the pod, and she was sort of looking at all the planes and the cars and everything around. And I mean, she shot it quite wide, so I did crop it out of there. But that's her composition and everything. I was quite impressed, to be honest.
That's cool, though.
This is, let's have a look here, and there we go. That's my little one there.
Oh, she's a cutie. Start saving up money for the bell tower.
No, I've got a Rottweiler, mate. They're going to get through that first. And then me. Believe me, I'm worse than a Rottweiler.
Oh, that's wild, dude. That's a nice shot, though.
Thank you. Yeah, she's my little model. I mean, you know, she's just fantastic behind the computer. This year we went up to New Mexico, and I said to Cameron, just sort of walk away from the camera. I want to try an HDR, and that's what she gave me.
Wow.
It took the Forerunner off-roading through these horrifically deep trenches of mud and ice and snow, and she had her favorite boots on, so off she went.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Mark Helm, I just saw you came on.
How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. How are you?
Good.
What you got to share What you got to share for us today?
Today, I don't
Any
know.
good pictures?
Give me a sec.
Is that a mosquito behind you on your left-hand side?
It's a crane fly.
Your other left hand?
I know.
Sorry.
Over there or over here?
Yeah, on your left, my right.
I'll bring it up. I'll show you.
Nice.
Spectacular macro work.
That is incredible, yeah. I mean, everything, pin shot, even the dewdrops, and that is fantastic. That's obviously sort of a large depth of field with a flash, right?
That's stacked natural light outside with the 150 2.8 sigma.
Nice.
So you guys just carry on and all. It's amazing how whenever you're getting ready to get into these things, you can find all the stuff you want to show. And the minute you get in here, you can't find anything.
It's not like the pressure's on or anything.
Blank. Absolute blank.
All right. If anybody else has got any other pictures to share, also, I mean, please feel free to do so. James Davidson has a picture here. It says, obviously not a final photo, but this was the lighting for something. So he's working on some RC car stuff. That's actually going to be pretty cool, dude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that'll work out.
Is that a Revo?
What is it? He just said this was he was lighting for a test of an RC car. It's an electrics RC car.
Okay.
Remote control.
Yeah.
I like that though. That could be pretty cool. You set up a nice time of day, nice. Watch your background, right? Make sure you have enough stuff in the background so that you don't see it's a white fence.
Yeah, that white is a little distracting, but
well, I mean he's just
doing
light. This isn't his final. I mean, this is just his light test.
Mm-hmm.
But if you pull all of that stuff so far away from that background, so you don't see the background,
mm-hmm.
you're going to be able to knock out. You could be onto something here, yeah.
You know, the tough thing about that is, I mean, I've got a little gas car here, a 3.3 Revo, and those things are lightning fast. So to get a shot like that, I mean, that's pretty spot on, really. You see the whole underbelly of it. That's great.
And you know what's really cool about this? If you did this like outside, like in an open concrete area or something like that, set all of that stuff on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be wild.
There. Dude, that'd be pretty cool. Your car might not make the end of that, but it'd make a heck of a shot.
Would you do a rear curtain, if you had to set that on fire and rear curtain your flash, that would be quite sort of wild. You'd get, you know, the exposure on the fire and the flash would lighten up the car.
That'd be great, dude. All right, now, I'm going to hold you to that one, James Davidson. That's, you're going to have to produce that one. I don't want to see anything less than fire on that car. So, all right. No, he wrote back, give me a little time. I'll do it for sure. You only have a little bit of time. You have a week and a half. That's it. A week and a half. Set it up.
That's still a great shot.
That'll be cool.
I just need to step away for a minute, sorry.
Yeah, man. So, all right. Edward Moxley. Ooh, look at you. Hey, that's pretty cool, Edward. I thought you said you didn't get a shot.
The screen share thing has flipped the picture. Looks like is supposed to be on the left side.
No, it is on the left side.
I don't reckon it really matters.
It flips it for you, but it shows it to us nicely.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the thumbnail at the bottom because it's not showing on the big picture here of the Hangout.
Yeah, no, I see it. I see it with the hummingbird. That looks pretty good, though. That's a good start.
Yeah, that's one of two that I ended up liking out of hundreds.
You know what? You only got to like two. You only got to like one, really.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get some more this year. They haven't showed up yet.
You know, I think digital, to some degree, has made us all of a sudden feel like we need to like more pictures than we actually have.
Well, you're not wasting a lot of film and money. Yeah. So.
Yeah. If you like, I'll go out and I'll do a shoot, and people are like, "Oh, how many pictures are you going to see out of that shoot?" And I'm like, "I'm only looking for one." I'm like, we're shooting for 3 hours. It's like, what are you looking for? I'm looking for one picture. What about all of the other ones? And I'm like, maybe there's 2. I was like, but I only need 1. So I think that's just it's one of those expectations. You know, our expectations have changed a little bit. But that's cool, man. I like that. That was pretty cool. Ernesto.
Appreciate it.
Nice shot, dude.
Thanks. This was actually 2 years ago at a balloon fest over here in Central Florida, over at New Smyrna Beach. You know, the story behind this is, you know that I'm extremely afraid of heights, but when it comes to hot air balloons, it doesn't matter. I don't. There's no fear at all when you're flying around in one of those things. And I just had a wide-angle lens, and I just started shooting away. And one of the shots was this guy here.
That's pretty cool, dude.
All right. Thanks.
Nice. Let's see, what else? What else do we have here? Who else has got a good shot here?
I can show you that one on the screen share if you want.
Yeah.
That's the one that's behind me.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
That's on one side, and so that's shot outside. That's just a stack shot outside in the rain.
Wow.
That's a milkweed plant in the morning. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It looks like it was frozen.
It's covered with dew.
Oh,
Really
okay.
heavy,
All right then. Okay then.
Heavy fog. That's just a little stack. Looked like that thing was falling, but it really wasn't.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the in-air ones, it's always amazing. I guess it's easy to get, but I find it very difficult to get some good ones in the air. You see, is this a black one with a little orange thing in the center?
Yes.
That's a butterfly wing. That's a scale off of a butterfly wing that fell onto the black part of the wing.
Wow. That's incredible.
Wow.
Great job.
Thank you.
That's very cool, dude. That's very, very cool.
Keeps me off the street. That's the other one that's over my shoulder.
Yeah, that's nice.
That is incredible.
You can actually see the hairs on his legs.
That's another one. That's outside. That's about, I think that one's about 12 shots. A 12-shot stack. Get out really early in the morning and you can, you know, they're not moving very far. Off here.
That's awesome, dude.
That's great.
Great work there. Great work.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I got to pull on out, but RC, thanks a lot for hosting this.
Yeah, man, not a problem, man, not a problem.
Okay.
You know, it's one of those things where it's just, sometimes it's not about, you know, tricks and tips, and we can get into a ton of different types of conversations by just kind of just shooting a breeze. So,
all right, great.
A little bit of time, happy to do it.
All right. Hey, see you guys later.
All
Cheers,
right.
man. Nice to meet you.
All right. Nice meeting you guys, too.
I wanted to share this one with you as well. This one was with my daughter with my 2 Rottweilers in Cape Town.
Oh, let me see. Wow.
What I call perfect control.
That's awesome, dude.
She had a bag of biscuits in her hand, and this one over here, the one closest to her is the male 4, and then Daisy's sitting behind her. And every move she made, those little heads followed her. Absolute control.
That's very cool, dude.
Nice.
Way cool. All right, Tawny, what do you got? Let me see. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I was downtown yesterday. All the cherry trees were in bloom around the Capitol building, and so I wanted to try doing one overexposed. just to see what the flowers would look like. So that's my overexposed cherry blossoms.
Nice, way cool. I dig that. I dig that. I dig that. Let me see who else has got. Edward Moxley. Let's see. Switching over here to you. What do you got? Ooh.
Those are tough.
That's my other one.
Those are really tough.
That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. You're getting there. You're getting there. That's cool, dude.
That's a tough thing to shoot. Those little buggers.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you're gonna have your work cut out for you, but when you get what you want, that's gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got his wings stopped there.
I appreciate it.
And that's one of those things that that's one of those things where I tell people, I'm like, you know, sometimes you have like this work, this body of work, or this thing that you're working on that's going to be definitely a lot. It's going to be a lot of work, right? You look at it, and sometimes people are like, it's like I've got some stuff that I'm trying to work on that I know that it's going to take me several years just to get the shots. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's all right. It's okay. You know, it's just you're just gonna keep plugging away at it. Like over the last 2 years, I've probably made one shot that I think that'll contribute to it. It's all right. It's not, you know, I don't have to sprint there. I just have to get there. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's all good. That's a nice shot. Nice shot.
Everybody has kind of a quest like that. They. You know, I'd like to get a spider on a web and have it clear from front to back. And I don't know how many thousands of shots I've done. You know, to try and stack it that's my challenge.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah, it's like it'll get there. You'll get there when you get there.
That's right. And all of a sudden it'll happen, you know, and then it'll be eureka.
Then you'll be happy with it. What do we got here? John. Ooh, nice shot, John.
In my boxing. Always like black and white for boxing for some reason.
Oh, that's a great capture. Look at his face, eh?
John, you suck. Now I'm leaving. There's an old like seedy boxing ring here in Tampa. It's just like by like a neighborhood that's like a, you know, not the best neighborhood in the world. They hold like weekend boxing matches. But it's like that old gym that you would expect, like, you know, the prize fighter coming out of.
Those ones always give you the best ones, though, because, you know, the rules are far and few between.
That's cool, dude.
Hey, John?
Yes.
The Medal of Honor shot is really impressive.
Oh, thank you. That was a fun evening.
I bet you it was.
Honor to meet those guys.
You'd never forget it, will you?
No, they're really an incredible group of guys.
That's cool, dude. I like that shot. Good shot. Good shot right there. Nice, nice, nice. Well, guys, on that note, I'm going to call it. I have a bunch of things that I want to work on here. There is a shot. I'm thinking... I just posted a shot today. Was it? Let me see. Where is it? I think I posted a picture. Oh yeah, this shot right here. We're talking about HDR. A couple of people have asked about it. So this picture, I'm gonna try to find probably tonight. I'll go ahead, and if anybody's interested, we'll go through how I did this and how to tone it and process it and finish it up, and we'll give everybody some source files so that you guys can play with it. So if you guys are around, stop on by, say what's up.
Hey, RC.
I wouldn't mind, because there's something I'd like to ask you as well about getting rid of ghosting in HDR that I'm just having issues with.
Nice.
But we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll try to give it a spin tonight after child goes to bed.
Sounds good.
RC,
Yes, sir.
are you aware of Milos Janet?
Milos Janata?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You know
Yes.
he passed away, right?
No.
Yeah, it's on the website from his brother on the 31st, and white rafting accident or something in Czechoslovakia. I think if you go to his website, I think it's on his Facebook site too. I just read it this afternoon.
Are you kidding me?
That's what I thought. I mean, let me see if I can find it here.
That's really sad to hear.
Oh my goodness. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm gonna post his Facebook page. There's a note there from his brother.
Oh, dude, this sucks.
No, I'm assuming. I mean, I'm just reading what's here, so I have no independent or anything on it. I'm just reading it.
Oh, that sucks, dude. That.
Yeah, he was always so vivacious, open, caring.
That's wild, dude. That's wild. You know what? Life is fragile.
It is.
Wow. That's, man.
Yeah, you never think it's going to happen, but you know, it's like you said, it's fragile. Like it's over in an instant. It's like your kids. Make sure you tell them you love them every time they leave, because that may be the last time you ever see them.
Wow. All right. Well, cool, dude. Thanks for bringing it up, man.
You're way too young to go to this.
All right, guys. Listen, we'll chat. Yeah, we'll chat later on tonight, guys.
All right. Stay well, everyone.
RC.
All right, man.
Later.
Go shoot some boxing.